All right, let's go ahead and get ready to take another trip here back into the fog. One time to start things off for our winner's circuit. We're going to be seeing Sequence Divine Dead, going to be seeing a Tree Trick on that Plague, Excise, Swatter, iPick, and Seth on the side of our survivors here. First game, what are you thinking here today? I feel like coming out here, you really got to set the tone, right?
Well, yeah, you definitely do have to start the tone, and we see our survivors have loaded in here in Tree Trick. Not going to waste a single second already puking on these generators and getting the spread out. Oh, but you have to keep in mind, look at his Corrupt right now. It doesn't have really a tight 3-gen. It's on the Shack side as well. Not a great start for him, but if he's able to potentially find someone, which I think we just saw the silhouette of a man behind that window, so Tree Trick could potentially get some huge pressure here if he's able to find it, but ooh, I don't think he's going to commit to this. He's just going to try and spread his puke around while rotating around, maybe for his power, maybe just trying to see if he can infect one of these people that are around trying to interact with these objects, maybe thinking someone was not locker there, but no, not able to find anyone just yet. But David iPick is going to be found out in the open. Is Tree Trick going to go for him? He has his power right here. This could be a very early down if he does commit to it, but no, not getting his power, instead just staying around this middle area. Ooh, that's what he's doing. He's trying to wait for somebody to come towards the main building and trying to damage them out of there. Since he does have a pool over here as well, he's going to have a lot of pressure if he's able to get the injure or even the puke onto the survivor and maybe break them before they're able to get away. But it seems like a little bit of a sprint burst coming out here from Swatter.
Yeah, you see the Sprinto burst, so at least building a little bit of distance here. But I feel like the big thing, especially when we saw Tree Trick load in, you had the 3-gen that you had mentioned, not the tightest on the tops or the bottom side of the map, but that means actually top side of the map. You got quite a decent gen spread. You want to make sure no one got past him. Yeah, you got that corrupt intervention, able to push people into you. You're now starting this chase with Swatter. The question now becomes this middle portion of the map on Suffocation Pit sometimes can be a little bit of a pain, but you can see Swatter just going to go ahead and go into this corrupt side of the map, and that's going to cause Tree Trick here to decide to break chase.
Yeah, Tree Trick is in a kind of a sticky situation, though. He's left so many people. We can already see they're starting to work on these generators. We see Seth now here in the middle as well, trying to sneak past him. Everybody's really unaccounted for. Tree Trick doesn't have any pressure on any one of these survivors, and, you know, he's going to try and need to get it down as soon as possible since he doesn't have a really close 3-gen here in this area. Yeah, he has a lot of ones on the top area, but like I just said, he's let people go unaccounted for, and now Excise and iPick both have a lot of progress on that 3-gen. Tree Trick will get the infection now onto Excise, but in the meantime, Swatter will have already cleansed, not trying to even take the potential for an injured down from Tree Trick, but ooh, Excise will get injured, and he's kind of out of position. However, he still should be able to make that pallet, meaning Tree Trick will have to get rid of this or get his power, but now Excise is in a very tricky situation. Unless he's able to make it and get to another line of sight rocker, Tree Trick should be able to easily get it down over here. He goes for a very early hit. I don't think it's going to land. Yeah, no, but he's at a very rough tile, and that means Excise will take the first down now at 5 generators, but the question is, will iPick finish his generator right now? And if he is able to, ooh, yeah, he's at that 95, and ooh, and they're doubling on another gen in the middle as well. Tree Trick is going to need to try and snowball this as hard as possible, especially now that his power is still up.
Yeah, you still have yourself a little bit of time here, but you don't just have the one use of the power here. You do, see down that bottom left-hand corner, we brought in the double apple, so we know that we have the ability to really put down the pedal to the metal if we have, the ability to try and put a little bit of extra pressure down here. Now the question becomes, we've got to be the ability to kick a couple of these gens, let that Call of Brian value kick in, see if maybe even potentially getting eruption value, which at minimum you at least get the little bit of regression, but you have a couple of these gens around you. You can decide to sit around this gen. The only risk is does mean once you pull this player off the hook, it's an easy decision for Tree Trick to decide to try and get another fresh hook here.
Yeah, it definitely could play out bad here for Sequence if Tree Trick is able to make it. However, Swatter threw down that pallet, and now is going to be able to get a little bit of distance and potentially even make another pallet. Ooh, this is such a pallet dense area. This is why you most of the time don't want to try and take a 3-gen on the shack side on the suffocation pit because it just has so many pallets and so many tiles to work with, and it's much closer to that middle section of the map than the main building side is. But we can see the survivors are already working at breaking the 3-gen that Tree Trick wants to keep on this side, so Tree Trick is definitely in a very bad situation if he's not able to get it down now onto Swatter. But like I said, Swatter's in such a safe place now. Xeyes also was able to make it away. We see Seth getting infected, probably working on that middle generator as well, and Tree Trick just has to escape this area. He can't really commit to a chase on Swatter. He has to go for his power, and now he needs it down as fast as possible. We see Seth breaks that middle generator, so now Tree Trick doesn't even have a 3-gen on this bottom side. It's going to be very difficult for him to win this map unless he's able to snowball, and he sees 2 survivors, so he does have the potential to do it. But the question is he going to be able to make them, and is he going to be able to put pressure on them before they make it to this main building? And ooh, Seth's already there. He has to default back to Xeyes, but he's hiding. Ooh, but he does find him behind this loop, gets the down 2. The M1 comes through, but another gen in the distance will be completed, and only a second hook onto Xeyes will be granted, meaning 2 hooks at 2 generators remaining and not a single person dead. This is not a great position for Tree Trick to be in.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, especially because now, too, they've been able to break up the gen spread over here on this top side of the map, right? Which is now where the hook happens to be, which means there's plenty of room. This is first hook here, or sorry, second hook here, which really, if you want, you can invest a little bit of time, start breaking up that 3-gen that's now on the bottom side of the map. But I feel like right now, as far as for the survivors, I don't think you're in a big hurry just quite yet. You can see a couple players still refusing to cleanse. We saw them cleansing earlier, but of course, having a couple players here means if Tree Trick does decide to leave this hook, they're going to be able to move in, but Tree Trick not going to allow that, at least not now. Obviously, we still got plenty of time of that power left.
Yeah, and that's really going to be the question here. Are the survivors able to break this generator? We already see one at 40%. Xeyes will die before that one's completed, but Tree Trick needs to know that these other survivors are definitely going to be splitting out. But what? iPic's hiding nearby. He could come in for a save at the last second as well and just make this, worthless. If Tree Trick doesn't stay here till the final second, ooh, but he does because he spots out iPic. If he didn't stay there till the final second, though, when he left a little bit early, iPic could have ran in there and gotten the save onto Xeyes already, but no, he will take the death. However, a lot of gen progress has been gained unless Tree Trick is able to get it down with his M1, keep in mind, since his power is now out as well. Then I think this game is already done for.
Yeah, I think you're definitely in a lot of trouble. You've allowed a lot of progress to be going here. You've only gotten your 3 stages. You know that you've already, don't really have any sort of 3-gen to even rely on, even though it is that 3v1. But I mean, it could still technically turn around. I mean, that's one thing with the Plague, right? Obviously, if survivors decide to stay sick, there's always a chance for that turnaround. Nice down here in the pallet space here for Tree Trick, though. And question is, do you have anybody around here for the save? We see the 4th gen popping around the way. The question really becomes, what sort of pressures on these gens? That's 75%. I don't think there's a chance to even get them off that gen before it pops.
No, yeah, I don't think so either. However, Seth is going to be found out at the shack nearby this hook as well, meaning Tree Trick has no reason to really leave this area and could get it down. Maybe a 3K, maybe a 4K at all generators completed. This would be a huge turnaround if Seth is not able to get away. He vaults into Tree Trick as well, but ooh, Tree Trick does opt to instead go and get the vault. Not going to try and get the pallet drop this turnaround. He's going to try and get the hit outright, but iPic in the meantime could be coming in for the save. He could be 99 in that generator as we don't see it pop just yet, and it was looking very close to popping, so I don't think he's going to pop it just yet. Maybe scared of Noed coming out here, but no, instead we're just going to see that pallet being dropped and that final gen being completed. Ooh, but it seems a little bit of adrenaline is coming to play. He didn't get the heal, but he did get that speed boost and was able to run to the hook and gets the save onto Swatter. Tree Trick also hits him while he's in the unhook animation, meaning Swatter can now take the BT hit, and all Tree Trick will get is the 2K at most. But ooh, Swatter takes that BT hit, but he is in the locker as well. I don't think there's a DS here allowed versus the Plague, so this will be Swatter on the hook once again. However, Seth, the fresh hook, will be able to get out, and now at most I think that Tree Trick will just get a 2K. However, that no way out is still up, and we see scratch marks leading towards one of the drawers. We could get even more points here if Tree Trick plays this right, and I believe we saw another person to the left as well. That's going to be Seth once again, now in an area without a lot of pallets. Tree Trick definitely has the opportunity to try and get another down here. However, in the meantime, we'll see Swatter saved off the hook. However, Seth worth those full 7 points here. Definitely going to want to try and get the death here as he is in the corner and away from really where the survivors can come in for body blocks. And even if they do, they don't have a lot of progress on these doors thanks to No Way Out.
Yeah, you got still a little bit of time that you need to be able to build here. Luckily, you've got at least a couple of resources here to maybe potentially buy some time, allow for them to get out the door, and then still be able to make a play,
Ooh,
even potentially for the hatch. This could be big, though. You're going to be able to move back towards the middle of the map. You're going to even see our friend moving in for the body block, obviously being worth less points. The door now going to be open. If our Adam could potentially buy the additional extra space, they might be able to get out, but no, it does look like getting the reach at the window just at the right time. And Tritric now has 3 stages on the ground and definitely just going to secure those up here.
Yeah, that's definitely what you need. However, it seems like Sequence isn't even going to try and allow that iPick coming in for what seems to be maybe a body block, maybe a forced save. You know, they do have 2 people. You could go for a 2-man save here right next to the exit gate. It might be huge, but ooh, iPick at the last second does turn broken thanks to the Plague's power. So now they don't really have a lot of options. I think they just have to leave here. And yep, that they're going to take the escape. That's going to be 4 points for them. Sequence for out the door, and another 7-point swing for Divine Dead, bringing the first total after this first match of 14-19. So a lead by Divine Dead, but not a big one. We're gonna have to see how they're able to respond in the next round, if they're able to have a better Survivor game than we just saw from Sequence.
All right, let's go ahead and get ready to take another trip here back into the fog. Time for game number 2 of our first set, and we just saw this last time around. Tritric was able to get themselves 8 stages here. Gonna be up to Volga. Try and come out here and figure out what we can get done on the opposite side. 8 stages, not a bad result. It's just one thing you do have to be careful of course, with the fresh hook coming out, could be something that potentially plays out in the end, right?
Yeah. That's one of the things with 8 stages, like you're saying, the fresh stages count even more. If Volga's able to spread his pressure, especially how we saw with that No Way Out before, but it doesn't seem like Volga's going to bring it out here. Fresh hooks definitely are going to play a huge factor in a game that doesn't really have a lot of kills. You know, when you only have a couple of survivors really injured, really hooked like that, you're going to need to rely on as many freshes as possible. But you also have to keep in mind that he was able to get that 7-point swing there in the end. But Volka's already starting out super strong. He's infected 2 people, about to infect his 3rd, and this could, you know, really turn around on Divine Dead if they're not able to try and just crank these gens out, as Volga already has his first hit through, and 3 people already infected as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've really been able to take a look around as we've been starting this chase here today, but there's a decent little gen spread. Even though we're taking this chase in, technically, the corrupt gens, with this down here, this should be a hook on the main gen side. Amongst all of these generators over here, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to just see a camp in a 2nd stage here.
No, yeah, that definitely is possible. You know, we already have 3 injuries as well. That Thanatophobia is already going to be doing wonders as well. Volga just definitely has a huge advantage here. Also, again, now on the main building side, and a 4th injure as well. Thanatophobia at full effect. Volga is in such a position of power. The only thing that he doesn't have is a use of his power right now, but he's going to be able to kick these generators, able to regress them, and the survivors really should have no opportunity to do anything in this situation, as it seems he has a 5-gen or a 4-gen up here on the main building side as well. This is just impossible, I think, for the survivors to come back from unless they're able to lead Volga on a huge chase.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that we've learned over the course of the last year-ish or so is I don't know if it's something the pregame ritual, a rain dance to RNGesus or something, but really getting hooked up here as far as on these gens, something that we're used to seeing for Volga. And it makes the game plan a little bit easier, right? Because now you really don't have to worry about that bottom side of the map. It might mean that these gens start to accelerate a little bit in the first part of the trial, but if you can keep things over on this main building side, yeah, you have to fight around the main building, which can sometimes be a pain in the rear, but otherwise, especially as we start to see those resources start to get depleted and stuff like that, that's going to really work in your favor. Now Tritric actually going to be in that 2nd stage, so once he's pulled off hook, that's already going to be a 3v1 as well.
Yeah, and we
or a potential of a 3v1, I should say, right?
Yeah. Eli on the way over as well, we just saw take a hit, and now Kurzep is going to be found as well. Volga isn't going to be allowing anybody to try and get this save easily. He's doing a great job, honestly, of just putting pressure on this side of map. You know, spawning with a Fortune, you still have to take advantage of it, and he's able to do that at the start, able to infect 3 people, and then get that down onto Tree Trick, now making a very difficult situation. Kurzep might just go for the 1-for-1 as Volga's running up his power. However, he's about to run out of it. The question is, will Tree Trick die before then? Does Volga have the time to just sit here? And it seems like it. His power will run out now. He gets one last spurt of it, but nobody should be able to come in and set up for a double save before Tree Trick will just meet his fate. And yeah, already at 3 gens, we're going to be in a 3v1. Kurzep, the only non-injured or non-infected survivor, is going to also be in chase with Volga. Now Volga's going to have an opportunity to get that injure, and he gets it immediately as well. Doing a great job of just getting a lot of pressure on these survivors as soon as possible.
Yeah, you had mentioned early being able to get the couple of early infections, which helped start a little bit of slowdown with that Thanatophobia. Obviously, now this is a 3v1, even more slowdown on top of that, just because there's going to be somebody in chase. But not just that. You had mentioned how the power there for Volga is hanging around that last hook. That was big value from that amulet, which of course gives you the extra 20 seconds, which was just enough time. Now you've got it down. Now you're in chase with Milson here, who's already injured. This is so much pressure for Volga.
We might even see like a 4K at 3 generators. Milston's down, Eli's down. It's all up to Kurzep.
Wow.
This could be the hugest turnaround I think we've seen on a play game, able to just get a super snowball off the start. You know, we joke about that Volga RNG, but it's really Volga's capacity to try and come in and get these hooks, get these wins as fast as possible, and make up for the fact that he's playing a weaker killer and able to keep those 3 gens. You might like laugh and say, oh, Eruption Colorblind makes any 3 gen possible, but with survivors at this tier, you're really going to need to try and capitalize with an early down, and we'll see in the meanwhile, Kurzep will get the pickup onto Eli, but Milston's going to be taking that first hook as well.
Yeah, now the important thing too that's going to be big is you've got 2 survivors that are both injured. Curious to see if they decide to try and find a little bit of safety to heal, because they do have that potential, which is something you don't normally have against the Plague, right? But it would be wasting a lot of time here. So you can't help but wonder if they're just going to be trying to set up for this save while injured, which means this survivor right here now down only going to be... Wait.
Oh, they got the one
came in back behind though, so that's at least gets you another player back into play.
Yeah, that's going to be huge for them if they want to try and make a comeback here, but Volga's not going to let them. He has the power. He hits through that little sliver on the tile as well. Milston will go down. Kurzep is known to be nearby. Volga just has to find him, but ooh, he will make it over to Eli. They're not going down without a fight. However, they're now in a dead zone and the power is up. Volga gets a huge snipe onto Kurzep as well, and now will he get another one onto Eli? That's the question, and he will! All 3 survivors downed, all of them slugged, and now the hook will come through. A 4K at 3 generators. A huge upset from the previous match where we got 2 people out of the door. Volga showing how dominant he and Sequence are here, I think.
Yeah, this is really big. Remember, keep in mind too, this was Divine Dead's pick, right? You were wondering if maybe they had a trick up their sleeve or not, but instead, Volga gonna come in, shut things down very early. The other key thing to keep in mind, right? These same survivors are going to be coming right back out in this next game, and they're going to be playing into Sequence's pick, which means that this time between games going to be very important. Going to be kind of curious. You know, good day. If you're sitting here between these 2 games, what does that conversation look like? Because this was your pick and it didn't go your way at all.
You know, I think if I'm Divine Dead going into a Ghost Face, we're going to need to play super slow. Make sure that we're able to get as little of these hook states as possible, as little of these hits as possible against the Ghost Face, and make sure that you're able to have a very strong showing. We said that this Plague match was going to be a really big decider in the momentum of this fight, and it's already looking bad for Divine Dead. They're going to need to come back immediately on these survivors once again and show a much better showing if they want to take the victory here in this first game. However, even if they do lose, whichever side loses, there's still a loser bracket, and we could see Divine Dead or even Sequence, if Sequence is upset here, coming back from that losers bracket later in this tournament.
And man, just to be able to come out here and put this pressure down, I really am going to be excited to see, especially Divine Dead. This is going to be a big test for them. I'm going to be excited to see what these first couple of chases look for like them here on Larry's.
No, yeah, definitely are going to be some of the hypest chases, but we'll see how that is after a short break.
All right, here we go. Time to get ready for set number 2, and we just saw Sequence be able to take set 1 in quite convincing fashion. So we're going to be seeing the squad from Divine Dead here. Milston, Tree Trick, Kurzep, and is that EJ, I believe? We're going to be Elay. We're going to be seeing Elay back out on the Survivor side. And, if there was anybody who, I would have to choose. I don't know about you, but this is definitely the killer that I would pick for some Larrys. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ghost Face is one of the stronger killers here on this map, but iPick is also one of the stronger players of the Ghost Face on this map. We saw before on those team cards, this is Sequence's ideal killer, their ideal map to play on, and their favorite one to play on as well. So this is definitely going to be a great situation for them to come in here and potentially get a very dominant victory over Divine Dead and already send him into the losers bracket after the first round of the day. But Milston is going to be the first one in chase here. We're going to see them using that green add-on that allows you to get your power refilled after a stun, and that brown add-on, which I believe is a little bit faster on the stock speed as well. So that's definitely going to be great for iPick here to try and get those full stocks, as Milston is already going to be 99 immediately off the gate, and now he can rotate towards another survivor, potentially find another person working on one of these generators or trying to rotate towards some of the active generators. As a survivor team, you have to really scout out the area on Larry's to find out where you need to go and what you need to do as soon as the game starts. So iPick is going to be able to intercept a lot of that and finds Kurzep as well in this very, very unsafe pallet. This definitely could be a hit or even a full stop if they're not careful. And yeah, they just have to run into the killer. They're not going to try and challenge them there in that scenario.
Yeah, and one thing that's very interesting, at least to me, about Larry is I feel like we talk about some maps sometime. We actually just played on one, Suffocation Pit. It's sometimes like notorious for the RNG on it, but this sometimes can be one of those maps as well, which you just mentioned. So the survivors, the first couple minutes, you don't necessarily need to go just to attacking the gems. You need to kind of put together a strategy, figure out what you need to do, especially if you're a survivor squad for Divine Dead here, where you know that this is the home of Sequence, right? You know that iPick's going to be very, very comfortable, should know pretty much every sort of curve that you might be able to throw, whether it's something that you throw at him or RNGesus throws at him. iPick's going to be ready for it. So the first couple, good news, this first little chase, haven't seen anybody go down yet. And also you had mentioned that brown add-on there as far as for the camera. That just basically makes it so it takes less than 20% less to be able to mark a survivor. So it helps them get those marks just a little bit quicker. We do see a first down, though, is going to be out here by the door in a pallet space, nobody around, but 2 survivors paired up here. That gen already at 50%, probably going to see at least that thing pop. Going to be curious to see what kind of strategy our survivors here take to get the survivor off the hook.
Yeah, and we also have to bring up Ghostface used to have a very weird meta compared to the other killers on his perks. We used to see a lot of Mindbreaker, a lot of Ruin comboed with a Haunted Grounds, or other stuff like that. Just basically weird builds that would catch survivors off guard and make sure that they weren't able to do a lot. But as we've seen time and time again, the killers are always going to be forced back to this Columbine Eruption meta just because it's so good at keeping that 3 gens. And on Larry's, I think this is one of the strongest map for those 3 gens, and iPick, definitely one of the stronger killers on here, is going to bring that out to just show the strength of that. Ooh, we see Tree Trick trying to get the reveal there, but 70% will be brought up. But like I was saying, that Eruption Columbine is going to be brought out so the survivors know they can bring stuff like Blast Mine and get the stun on these killers. In the meantime, Kurzep will get off the hook, and I think it would have been a much, much more unsafe hook if Tree Trick actually didn't put that Blast Mine on that generator. That actually came out clutch. We see Tree Trick trying to work on this once again, but iPick is just going to be nearby trying to make it regress. It should have a lot of progress there, so iPick knows that there might not be any other generators nearby that the survivors really have a lot of progress on, since Larry's is just such a confusing map to really do a lot of comms on. And ooh, we see that coming true as well, as Milston gets found out, a fully stocked survivor, and Kurzep an injured one. Not a lot of opportunities for them to get far, and iPick should be able to get it down quick onto either one of them. Is going to go immediately for the tunnel now onto Kurzep. However, they do have a pallet, but it's an unsafe one. He goes immediately for the swing, however, and Kurzep doesn't throw it down. He just walks through it. Such big ego on that player right there to just walk through that. Now returning back towards this office area as iPick just kicks the generator and tries to get as much regression on as possible. Has to go now for Tree Trick in a very dire situation. Now comes back to bite Sequence here.
Yeah, this is tough. Oh, except you at least get your first hit before the pallet space. Yeah, I thought maybe we were going to be seeing that pallet down. I was hoping maybe we'd see that pallet down. This pallet's very strong, but instead I pick able to maybe catch him out of position here. That's going to be a down on the tree trick. The question becomes, is anybody around for the save? You know, Milston probably hiding off in a corner here, currently waiting for the last little bit of that one shot potential to be going away there. But I mean, this is going to be a basement hook. It might have been a little bit of a later down than you would have liked for your second down, but with this being in the basement, this could be really big for iPick. Really big swing.
You know, I don't even think it was late, as we're still at 4 gens. You know, iPick has done a great job of cooking these generators. Like, this generator, which was almost completed, is now down to like 20%, and we see a survivor nearby, but he's just going to kick it once again with that eruption collar brine, and now returns back to the basement. They're not going to know exactly where the Ghost Face is now, thanks to the fact that he doesn't really have a terror radius, so iPick could bluff about staying around here too. He's going to check here, obviously, every now and again, but he doesn't really even have to go down here like he is doing. I think, ooh, maybe he was thinking a survivor is hiding there because they really can't call out exactly where iPick is. That's such a big brain play there, to think that a survivor could be down there, but it doesn't seem like Sequence or Divine Dead rather has had the time to go down there and do that. And probably I would assume that they're going to be focusing on these generators. As I said, they're still at 4, so popping 3 right now with a basement hook down there could be a huge play. As you know, Ghostface, honestly, I think we expect him to at least get a 3K on Hilarious here.
Yeah, I mean, generally we see that 3K ends up being right around that reset marker that where we've seen those longer series, right? We know that that kind of becomes quite the norm. And you'd even mentioned where we see sometimes the meta tend to shift. It's going to be interesting to see if, because of how we saw this, even this time around, our survivors are going to be able to crank these gens. Sometimes we used to see where the corrupt intervention wasn't getting brought in by our Ghost Faces. Looks like maybe potentially now, because they are going with more of that slowdown build, might be more important. But you see, at least for now, you got the Nia there about 1/4% stock. They are starting to move in. They've gotten 2 gens done. They might just let them hang and try and crank these gens out.
You know, one thing that I want to mention here while we're down here in the basement as iPick is stalking up these stairs, just waiting for anyone to go in for the save and camping out this, is I believe we saw on one of these survivors Rookie Spirit, which is a very niche perk. It allows you to see the regressing generators in the map after you hit a couple great skill checks. I think that could be used very, very well by the survivors on this map if they were able to prevent this death from coming through. As you know, with that Collarbone Eruption, like I'm talking about, the meta is going to evolve around those perks, and being able to see which ones are regressing, you know which ones you need to go and tap and prevent the Call of Brine from being worked on there. But Tree Trick in the meantime will die, and Kurzep will be stocked to 99, not able to get the full stock. iPick will get revealed just before then, but a pallet goes down and his power's back up, so if he wants to, once Kurzep is a little bit more vulnerable, that's going to be another instant down. Another generator will get completed, but not enough. iPick is in such a great position now.
Yeah, iPick really has a nice little bit of control here. The one worry that I have as far as can you kind of protect that little bit of a 3-gen that's behind us, that's why I'm worried about is kind of protecting that, coming over and checking on this gen the area, because the other 3 kind of linked together a little bit. But whenever you get this next down, it's going to be really big for you. The only problem becomes, I can't help but ask on the side of Divine Dead. We had a survivor that basically was able to hang in the basement for the entirety, and all you got was 3 gens, and that 3rd gen actually popped after the survivor was sacrificed. I feel like we're a little bit behind on the generator pressure.
Yeah, I definitely do think so as well, especially now that we have so much stock pressure on these survivors. iPick is going to be able to snowball in a second's notice, and the survivors don't know that, but they need to act like it is a potential at any time. You know, Milston could also be stocked. We could have iPick just hanging around the halls somewhere hidden, and Milston could all be stocked. I think you need to play around like a snowball potential from Ghostface could come out at any time, so you need to play really safe and really aggressive on these generators. But we do see that iPick is going to drop the chase now, returning back to the halls, trying to stalk his next victim, as Kurzep and Ilay are both 99 here. Milston, the only one who is going to be not stalked, but he is also going to be the one that's found by iPick. That's great for Divine Dead here. However, they're going to need to make sure that iPick takes an injury on at least one of these survivors that does have a little stock progress if he wants to prevent the snowball potential from coming through. iPick now just going to kick that generator, call a brine it, and now return back to his generators. This is what we're talking about. This is why Rookie Spirit honestly is a great perk to bring out on here. You know exactly where the killer is. You get that information information since the aura of the generator lights up. So now you know exactly where the survivor, the killer is coming from. But Kurzep isn't going to be able to use those callouts to his advantage, as he will get stalked and downed immediately. In the meantime, the distance that eruption will go off, but no value, no one on that generator. So iPic just going to get the hook out of this and the regression on that gen.
Yeah, but I mean, you do, even though you might not get any value as far as the incapacitation, you at least get that regression on those couple of gens. Big value here, especially because you can apply it to multiple generators here. And now, again, just have the ability to, was that even a fake kick, or did I just not see the full kick come in? And you see actually doubling back in, able to come in, get full stock coming in.
Oh no,
not going to be able to pull it off here, but you do now have 2 injured survivors, which means at least 2 survivors. You don't need to necessarily worry about the stock on the third one being the Nia. That is still at about 95% stock. So if they do decide to come in for a body block or anything like that, you could possibly pop Shroud, but right now you see popped into Shroud already. That means you have to worry about who's potentially trying to reveal you here. But I feel like iPic has so much pressure in a really good spot. Now you're even chasing this ace here. You're able to get another big pallet out of the way. I mean, you have so much control on the map.
Yeah, like I'm saying, the snowball pressure from Ghostface is insane. You have to play like this game could end at any second. We have 2 people who are injured. They need to get reset immediately, and LA is going to be fully stocked as well. As soon as the Ghostface is able to find any one of these survivors, it's going to be a huge potential for the snowball. We see Milson and Kurzep probably running for a reset as LA is trying not to be found, but he is going to be found, and now the stock is going to grow even closer. iPic's going to find him right on top of him. He runs into him, and now the stock will come through. No way to make that window, so we'll see the down. The eruption is going to play out as well. That regression is going to build up. The survivors have basically no progress on these generators as they have to go for the reset as well. So iPic is going to get this fresh hook basically for free, not wasting any time, and he's going to be able to put it back in that 3-gen area as the reset is only just starting right now. This is not a good position for them to be in. We'll have the spectator bug for a couple more seconds, but this reset is going to come through. The question is iPic going to be able to come in and find this? That would also be a huge potential for snowball here.
Yeah, I'm also kind of intrigued to see you actually finished healing the survivor that's not close to death, though. If you would be able to get back and interrupt that would have been huge. Unfortunately, though, the full reset is going to come in. But regardless, we know that if Kurzep does get found, this immediately gets turned into a 2v1. So the strategy on the side of Divine Dead here going to be very important, because you have to worry about trying to attack these gens at minimum. We had talked about that 4 gens getting done seems to be kind of also a good side of where things get ran back. It's either the 3K or the 4 gens getting done. And right now on the side of iPic, if you can get things done, you got Kurzep just about fully stocked. The question is, can you make it down or make a play with it? You see making the way through the showers, trying to continue with the tracking here. Still also in that Shroud as well, so you could potentially sneak up on somebody working on these gens as well.
Yeah, and that would just mean such a bad position for Divine Dead to be here. You know, they need to really show a great performance here, and if iPic's able to end it here, you're going to have an even better performance than iPic, who's known for this map, like we've been saying. So Divine Dead really needs to stop him right here, not get any more hook states, and try and get out of this unscathed at this point, really.
Yeah, I mean, the tough part is they seem to be somewhat in the recognition of the fact that they need to make sure that they don't allow that 3-gen that is still on the other side. They're going to be able to get the reveal, though, before LA would have been exposed. Now going to be taking the chase here with the ace. Gets done stupid, plus 10 wood added to the face here. Now going to build a little bit of distance, and that separation is going to cause iPic to quickly pop that Shroud. That's going to be, again, thanks to that add-on there, the wallet add-on, the green one, which is going to at least allow him to put pressure back on these gens.
Yeah, he's going to have a great opportunity now here to rotate and go back for those gens like you're saying, but Eli's already going to be found. He's not going to have a lot of pallets to work for, but iPic doesn't know that, I guess. He's not going to commit to that area. I believe he's already gotten rid of 3 pallets in that area earlier in the game, so he could have potentially gotten for the down, but instead he's going to go for the rotate, trying to put the pressure on these survivors and try and get a fast down as soon as possible. But Kurzep is going to make it to a very, very safe pallet. If he's able to keep up this chase, this could be huge. The Bloodlust comes through, but iPic is just going to take the pallet stun. Ooh, and the blind as well, as Kurzep should be able to get a little bit of distance now because the iPic has to rotate, but he's going to be in Shroud. The callouts are going to be hard for the survivors to come through, and so Was he revealed? Who revealed him there? Who was hidden around to get that shroud off right now? I don't even think we saw any of those killer instinct marks as well.
Yeah, that was a very interesting reveal. Not exactly sure where it came from. I'm sure iPick probably muttering a thing or two under the breath as well. Would have liked to have been able to make a play over here on one of these generators. You're at least going to get the Call of Brian notification. So you do know that someone's working over here on this generator. You can also see over across the way, we know that the Nia Elay also working on a gen that's right around that 50%. So we're now really going to be relying on this Call of Brian to, 1, get you information, 2, get you a little bit of additional regression here as well. We've been able to find Milston, our ace. You've got about 50% stock, but I think at this point, you just go ahead, break chase, try and see if you can catch someone out of position. You've got 2 survivors that are basically 99.
Yeah, this, like, I'm insane this whole time. Snowball potential can come through, but the survivors are playing so well against that. LA is always running to these safe areas, and right now, though, he's going to be in a very risky spot. Only this window to work with. Like I was saying before, not a lot in this area. iPick's already gotten rid of everything, so I think this window is all he has to play around, so LA will take the down now. Ooh, and the double eruption as well, going to set those generators off. iPick is now once again in a great position after the survivors were almost making a comeback there.
Yeah, now you're in a tough this spot where you're the survivors, right? Because you know that we're kicking these gens with the Call of Brian. Normally when you have, even when you see them trying to break up a 3 gen, you kind of tack the outside, but now you just kind of have to split up on gens and just hope that somebody gets enough time. And with the pressure that iPick's putting out, that's not going to be the case. Now the curious question becomes, who moves in for the save here? Because if it's Kurzep, we know, at least we know, because we can see as far as in this display, they're 99. That's a quick stop. But even Milston, about 50%. Either player that's moving in could be very easily taken out even before the save comes in.
Yeah, it's just so difficult for the survivors here. They were in a good position up until LA got down, but he was just in such a risky position. You know, iPick gave up on him on that first opportunity, but now that he was at that generator once again and he saw nothing around, he knew he could go for it. And Kurzep now is also going to be in a similar area, only this pallet around. iPick gets the full stock as well, but it doesn't seem like he wants to commit to it. Instead, he wants to prevent any more points from being earned here from Divine Dead. If he's able to get a 4K at 2 gens here, I'm going to say that it's already over. So iPick is just trying to prevent as many points from coming through from Divine Dead as possible, it seems, as Kurzep is going to be able to get away through that stock, but he's going to be able to get regression on 2 generators already started. Kurzep is going to be hiding in the corner. Milston is probably going to be trying to look for the reset onto Alay, as Alay is just going to try and stay as safe as possible, as one more hook will mean death. iPick really needs to just try and find these survivors right now, however, as if he loses this pressure that he has right here, I think there still is an opportunity for the survivors to make a comeback and maybe even get a 3-man escape.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. This next chase, or at least the next, whenever the next chase comes in, it's going to be important. But yeah, you see right here, you find Milton. Milton now going to be injured. You've got 2 gens that are already at least armed up with that Call of Brian, which means you know if anyone hits a good skill check. Actually, we got one popping over here to the left. So it's not just regression. It's also a little bit of map information that's kind of built in with this perk here. And now the question becomes, have you been able to find them out of position? They're going to be over here. There's still a pallet in play here, a tougher pallet that's still left. But the longer this match goes, the less resources that are on the map, the more that things swing in favor of iPick. iPick being one of those players that has been a part of a lot of those knock them out, drag them out series on this map, realizes how important getting the 4K before this next gen is, and you get 3 different generators that you get regression from. Eruption, I mean, that's so much value.
Yeah, and this is also going to be a death as well. iPick is in such a good position now. You know, Alay is the one person that you didn't want to be found, and now, you know, it's going to be so difficult to even get one more gen. You know, Kurzep is going to be healthy, but he's also going to be on death hook, and Milston is going to be injured, so you might want to go for him, especially because he's going to be a fresh hook as well. You could guarantee so many points as iPick here. You really hold all the cards, and finding Kurzep here, it's going to be the uninjured survivor, but it's going to also be the one on death hook. The only thing that you have to worry about now, I think, is the hatch if the survivor goes down here and you opt to hook them first. But iPick, being an experienced killer, you know, probably not going to do that, I would expect. Kurzep is going to take the hit and run away. iPick might be trying to cut him off. No, just going to go for the generator here, but their power isn't up just yet, so callouts are going to be made on exactly where this killer is heading towards, and Milston should have heard the edge of his terror radius if he was over here nearby.
And now, once again, I mean, with the meta here, going to be able to get some extra information, arming up onto these generators. 2 gens now that have that call of Brian. There's Milton, who we were looking for. Another pallet that we had talked about earlier that has quite a bit of strength, now officially going to be removed. No real reason to invest in Chase over here, though, right? We know that there's more protection that needs to be done over here on this side of the map, but Milton kind of ends up running into it regardless. So it's kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, plus you get a little bit of extra eruption value. And, you know, now, of course, because it is a league, we're just going to go ahead and slug for the 4K, baby.
Yeah, Kurzep is going to try and hide it out here. You see that? That's I believe it's called Solidarity. I think that's probably what's able to show. Like that's the one that's 50% return on heals, right? I think that was probably their play for the resets here, but it doesn't seem like it got a lot of value since a lot of those resets were interrupted by iPick earlier in the game, and Kurzep really wasn't the one that was injured all that often, or rather wasn't the one that was healing the injured all that often, but was the one that was injured. I think it was a very actually we did see a little bit of value. That's why they opted to heal Milston first, Kurzep there in that one situation. They were trying to get value out of Solidarity there, but I don't think a lot was gained there. I think that might have been a little bit of a waste of a perk slot there, honestly.
Yeah, and now here at this point, you're going to be seeing even iPick going to be able to kick a couple of these gens, looking for this last survivor. And because there's nothing else really at play, you have to be a little concerned, because now we're at this situation where you don't want to allow the survivor to bleed out, right? Also, you want to make sure you can still secure your all of your hook stages as far as on that, because we know that that's 3 stages that are on the ground there. And I'm kind of surprised you didn't go with the quick hook, understanding that, unless maybe they lost count or lost track there.
Yeah, well,
because Kurzep's death hook, right? Like,
yeah, but you have to keep in mind that now the bleed out rules are only 1 point is lost unless they're on death hook. If they're on death hook and they bleed out, then you don't lose any points. You are awarded the full points. But if they're a fresh hook or a second hook, then they only lose 1 point now. So while it will be a point loss, it won't be as impactful if Milston does bleed out here. And I think Sequence, having 2 generators left in this scenario, are fine to let 1 point difference on Milston here on the bleed out. I think they're just going to try and guarantee this hatch isn't found for Kurzep, as that will be a 3-point swing for the favored Divine Dead. But now they are going to pick up Milston, not going to allow the bleed out. They might even allow them to wiggle here if they want to be a little bit cheeky and let them get another chase, but no, instead we're just going to see that hook. The first stage will come through, now has 60 seconds to find where Kurzep is before the potential of hatch will come through. Kurzep is going to be near one of the exit gates as well, might be trying to gambit for just an exit gate play here in the end game, and that could mean that they will get an escape out here, but honestly, this just seems like a 4K all the way if iPick is able to find exactly where Kurzep is.
Yeah, and it's going to be, this is one of those maps where it's tough, right? Because there is no, you know exactly where the hatch is, right? Kind of, it has a little bit more extra RNG focus around it, even especially with your doors as well. There, you know, kind of that added bonus too. So maybe potentially working out in the favor of our survivors here for Divine Dead. But it's the good news for you if you're iPick. If for any reason the survivor gets out, it's legit just 1 stage, you know?
Yeah, but that's a full 3-point swing as well, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, you probably would have wanted Milston to bleed out before you hooked him. I think finding Kurzep was definitely the best play you could have made if you were iPick. However, it seems like he is going to be checking over on these doors. Is this the right door, though? No, it's not. We saw Kurzep was hiding in one of the corners, and now it seems like iPick isn't going to be on the right door. However, he goes to the next door and he checks those corners once again. We might see it. Milston will now let go on the hook. iPick has to make a decision. Does he go for the doors or does he go for the hatch? He's right next to where Kurzep is. He's in the corner on that door. Will iPick check it? He's checking the lockers nearby, trying to find the survivor. Ooh, but it seems like Kurzep ran towards the killer for some reason. And we'll see the scratch marks and get the down. No. Yeah, that's going to be the 4K. I think he was too scared. I think he was scared of the proximity of the killer. He maybe thought that he was going to check the door no matter what, so he's trying to run towards and find the hatch as a last-ditch effort, but it won't be enough, and the full 28 points will come out for Sequence here with only 6 for Divine Dead.
Yeah, that's going to be really big here, and yeah, I'm not sure what resolution y'all are watching this in chat, but that does look like a 4K to me before the 4th gen pops. We're going to have to see a Sequence All right, let's get ready to take another trip here back into the fog. And there, after that last trial number 3, we saw iPick was able to get the 4K without seeing a 4th generator pop. So that's going to make the very tall ask here for Tree Trick to try to do the same thing against the squad of Xeyes, Swatter, iPick, and Seth coming out here for a sequence. And you know, I can't help but ask, coming in with such a steep wind condition, would you have thought about maybe switching things up? Because we do see that it's an identical build here, Good Day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Call of Brine Eruption is just such a good meta perk. I think if you're Tree Trick, what you're really hoping on, honestly, is just the position of your Corrupt on your 3-gen and what that's going to do for you. And it doesn't seem like it's given him a very, ruthless one here. So Tree Trick's definitely going to have to try and make it up with the chase. And we're already going to be starting one with Swatter. This should be a lot of potential for some stock here. Tree Trick definitely going to get a lot of value out of here, but he shouldn't use it up just yet, as this is a very safe palette. And yep, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to rotate around the map, trying to try another approach for the survivors here, and he's immediately gonna find Xeyes as well. Tree Trick does have some huge huge potential for snowball here, but Xeyes around the corner is gonna be able to get that reveal, but an injure should still come out of it.
Yeah, you should at least be able to get the free M1 here, which that's going to be the case. Comes out there. You're going to be seeing them kind of take off towards the middle of the map with one player injured. You also still have the Atom that is 99 of 99, if I've ever seen one. Still going to be also in play here. So being able to find yet another survivor, the Nia, going to be able to get the M1 here. Tree Trick off to a good start, but you know, it's going to take a lot more than a good start of injures. You need to start accumulating some hook stages. The question is, how long does it take to get the first one?
But here's the thing. Xeyes is going to be healed right now. iPick's going to be in chase. Swatter was potentially the one resetting Xeyes or working on Jhin in a corner, as he knows he's 99. And Seth is also going to be injured as well. A lot of time is being wasted by Tree Trick here. A lot of Jhin progress shouldn't have been gained just yet. And if there was some Jhin progress, he's going to be able to interrupt it like he is right now and potentially get some Call of Brine and Eruption on that. Tree Trick should just break this and return back to his generator. And yep, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to be in power as well. He might be able to find Swatter and just turn this around immediately. Seth is going to be reset, but iPick is still going to be injured. Swatter is going to be 99, and oh my god, this might be a huge stealth play. He's going to find Xeyes, but ooh, he doesn't catch him out on an unsafe area. So because of that, Xeyes still going to get a lot of value here, and he's able to get the reveal through those bed sheets as well. Tree Trick is having a tough time, like you said, getting this down, but he is wasting a lot of time. The question is, like you said before, when is that going to come through?
Yeah, I mean, the good news, at least as far as where the reveal came in on the Ace, you're at about 80% stock. You should be able to get a nice, not quite 99 sort of play, but even if they're happen to try to be moving in and take a body block or something, you should be able to quickly stalk and get the 99 or get the stock there if that's the case. But yeah, now going to get right behind that pallet. That's going to be again another survivor around that 75% mark. So Tree Trick doing a good job getting some stock control. Oh no, not like this.
Yeah, Tree Trick was, like you said, trying to get that stock control, but just in the nick of time, they were able to reveal him. Now he has to wait that full, I believe it's 28 seconds now, 26 maybe. But also that brown add-on's going to allow it to come back a little bit sooner, but still, he's going to have to wait that full reduction period right there before he's able to get his power. He interrupts the survivor on this generator, but without his power, he's not going to be able to do much. He finds the scratch marks of another survivor, but this generator has so much progress, and he needs to try and get people out of this game before 2 generators are remaining. He's going to have a huge win condition to come through here, and ooh, iPick's going to be found out at this pallet as well. He's going to be injured, however, so Tree Trick might be able to get down here, especially if he runs into that wall, and a huge value from Eruption as well. This could be a turnaround here, as everyone's already stocked, and the one person that isn't completely 99 is also going to be injured. That's going to be a huge hook to come through onto iPick here. A lot of value from the Eruption as well. He can choose any one of those generators that just got Eruption on it, or find where Seth is and be in a great position here. But it seems like the survivors are already going to come in and try and get a save as well, though.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I feel like, especially after getting the Eruption value, at least on, I think it was the Atom I had seen that was the incapacitated. Wouldn't be a bad idea to try and move in relatively quickly. Now going to get caught out here. Swatter, though, gets done stupid, able to add +10 wood to the face. Binds here as well at the palace. Face to be able to get away. Now you have to wonder if maybe there might be potentially someone moving in for the save. Hopefully that's the case here for Sequence, especially since we see Tree Trick doubling back on this hook.
Yeah, here's the thing though. Swatter right there could have been caught off guard by Tree Trick if he went around. He had the God pallet, yes, but he still had the potential to be outplayed there, I think, at that pallet, just because of how much rotation power Tree Trick would have had if he went around, because everyone's expecting you to go back to the hook at that point. I think even now the survivors are expecting him to go over that point. He saw X-Size over there, so X-Size calls it out now, but they wasted so much time that the second stage already went through onto iPick there, already given him that second stage because they just thought that Tree Trick would immediately head over there. I think if he went for the opportunity to try and double back onto Swatter, he would have been able to get the down and catch him off guard, but maybe Swatter just hides at that pallet as well. That would have been a hard call to make, but he's going to be able to not even have to worry about that potential future as he finds X-Size. But once again, he tries to leave. He's going for the kill onto iPick here at 4 gens, but it's not going to be there in time. Swatter is going to be able to get that save. He gives up on the down onto X-Size, now has to go for the tunnel onto iPick here. However, if iPick's able to get away, he makes it to a pallet, he gets the BT. Now, Tree Trick is in such a bad position.
Yeah, this is extremely tough here. The BT being super unfortunate, but if you can follow this up here and get a big down, you might be able to still turn things around, because you do need to try and get this elimination super quick here. You're trying to play mind games at the pallet. There's one, there's two. Now you got Bloodlust 3000. There's going to be the down here. Now the question becomes, is anyone able to come around and maybe at least make a play, maybe a body block, anything? Otherwise, this is going to be the end of the game. Oh, even walking through the pallet space,
another generator.
There.
Oh, he has to drop him. He was walking far too long. He had to go around the whole room there. He wasn't going to be able to make it there. Now he doesn't get the hook that he so desperately needed, and another generator in the distance will pop. This is such a bad position for Tree Trick. He had a back and forth. He was able to get the tunnel onto iPick even after he got the BT and was able to get away, but now he had to go around the room and not able to get that hook. Another generator will go, and more progress will be on the way on the other ones. Tree Trick has to find a survivor right now if he wants to get any value out of the situation. The only one that's really worth it is Swatter or Seth here.
Yeah, you did find Swatter. That's the good news. Swatter also being at about 66%. Stalk gonna be able to get the stalk here. Ooh, nice little hesitation. I should build enough distance for Swatter to get to the pallet. Got maybe just a little greedy. Rotating too far the opposite way, which means Swatter does go down. That means those couple of gens that had gotten kicked with the eruption also gonna get some value as well on that. Their big first hook, that's gonna be some big points for you as well. Also, this generator gonna get that Call of Brine kick onto it, and I mean, still in a decent spot, but
iPick gets away safe here, though, and I think the reset will come through after as well if they're able to get the save onto Swatter. Right now, if you're Tree Trick, you have to focus on the hook, but you also have to focus on your gens, and because your attention is split, it means that you're going to be desperate, and the survivors make a little bit of, I don't know, that might have been a huge mistake, as X-Size is going to be prevented from dropping the pallet as well. Tree Trick just walks through it, acts like a boss, and is able to prevent that from being dropped down, but he still goes for the M1. Yeah. He seemed to be waiting for his power. He could have gotten that M1 a lot sooner, but instead still just commits to the M1 after waiting such a long time.
Yeah, I think right there we just saw a little bit of a unfortunate or lack of situational awareness, right? Because you had just gotten revealed, so you know it's going to take a little bit longer. So at that full time, you should have just swung at the first pallet, might have been able to catch him out of place later. Otherwise, now it's just an M1 that can simply get healed because you're not still on that chase, because you're Tree Trick, because you have to play defense on these gens. You have to try and catch somebody out of place. You saw some scratch marks, but even still, Tree Trick can't commit to that chase because you got to worry about how far all these generators progressed.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a huge question here for Tree Trick. Do you commit to one of these chases? iPick is somebody who I think if you see you have to commit to, since he is dead on hook, but I think anybody else you have to worry about the gens first. We see scratch marks. Now the question is going to be iPick. He is going to get Salk. He's 99, but Tree Trick still can't commit to him because he has so much distance. However, if you were paying attention on the left side of your screen, I don't think Tree Trick saw this, but Seth also got a little bit of stock. He was next to that gen. He's immediately going to be able to hop back on that generator and get even more progress. We might be able to see that one popping soon as well.
Yeah, that's going to be really unfortunate. But we do see, though, reset going to be coming in. That means now all of our survivors are back going to be completely healed, other than the couple of survivors that are obviously 99. There's no real one-shot down potential. Nothing really for Tree Trick to try and snowball a little bit of this additional pressure here. Does find iPick, though, out in the open. But this is a very strong pallet here. Should allow for iPick to build some distance. Since the reset comes in, that should allow our other 3 survivors to start getting up onto these gens, doing the easy job, holding M1, hitting some great skill checks, particularly on that gen that we see glowing, or should I say the 2 that we see glowing, knowing that that's that Call of Brian could potentially give their location away.
Mm-hmm. But Tree Trick's hot on the trail. I believe this is going to be iPick. This could be a death here. But the survivors, like I've been saying, are all going to be spread out on these generators. Ooh, and only runs into Excise here, who isn't really a focus right now. You don't need to focus on Excise at all. He doesn't have, I believe, a single hook on him. What you need right now is iPick, and Swatter also not a focus. Seth might be the only other focus just because he's going to be 99 there. iPick is the one that you want and the one that you need right here, and his full mark is about to run out. He's no longer going to be exposed. Tree Trick needs to be able to find him and get a remark onto him if he really wants to get any value out of this, and he's going to find Excise's body nearby, going to be able to get a little bit of stock on that. But again, iPick is who you need, someone who you could have gotten out so early in the game, and he is able to find him, but he's going to be immediately running to another God Palette, and Tree Trick isn't going to be able to play around that. In the meantime, Seth and Swatter should be both just be working on generators, and we might see 2 pop, and if we do, that's going to be the win for Sequence here.
Yeah, and especially now, too, being back here at a very, very safe pallet. This is plenty of time here for our survivors to try and get those necessary generators done. Remember, they don't even have to get survivors out. They just simply have to get 4 generators done. They've had plenty of time to attack in on these gens here now. We are going to be seeing Tree Trick doubling back, go ahead and doing, the good old gen kick meta here to at least try and regress and prolong this game just a little bit further. But there's already so much pressure spread out amongst multiple gens.
Mm-hmm. Tree Trick's gonna have to get it down onto iPick, onto Seth. Oh, and he finds Seth! That actually could be huge. Either one of them, but Tree Trick's not showing any devotion to these survivors. He's seeing that these strong pallets are nearby, and he just gives up. And I think that might be the right play, but you also need to commit at some point, because like we're saying, this progress is being built up little by little, and he needs to commit at some point. There, he can keep a 3-gen with Call of Brian and Eruption, but he can't keep a 4-gen, I don't think. And there's one already popping, one more, and this would already be the win for Sequence here.
Yeah, I mean, even though you did get, I think it looked like it was like a 4 or 5 on the top side, that you had some help as far as on the RNG, but really just such a strong and coordinated squad here from the survivors. They should be able to get this 4th gen done relatively soon. However, you've got 2 survivors that still have that mark on them for at least a little bit here. Might potentially see a little bit of a swing, but again, so many pallets on Larry's, and you see iPick really, really knowing how to use them.
Yeah, iPick is doing such a great job. Ever since he was in the vulnerable position of going out at 4 gens, he's just been able to hide in areas that Tree Trick could never commit in. And we'll see the down onto Excise, but like I've been saying, not a focus, not who you care about. And if a survivor got off of one of these gens that just got erupted and didn't get interrupted right now, that means that Tree Trick is going to be wasting time by getting this hook. He really needs to focus on his gens and iPick at this situation, and it seems like they're all going to be spreading out. We see that Seth was hiding in for the save, and Swatter starting on another gen. Tree Trick, however, is going to try and do a risky play of camping here. I don't know if this is the right call, honestly, as Excise is on his first hook, and you're just going to be wasting time for a second stage here. You need to go for as many stages as possible, and yeah, that was just wasted time as we see Excise get saved as soon as Tree Trick leaves. Swatter got a lot of progress on this gen because of it, and now Tree Trick has to stay over here in this area, which doesn't have a lot of gens and doesn't have iPick, which is the most important part. You need to be in an area where you can pressure iPick or Seth here.
Yeah, and now this chase going to be very important. Can you buy a little bit of additional time, especially as far as on the side for Sequence? They shouldn't need to buy much more time to only get this 4th gen. There it is, actually popping off in the distance as we talk about there, which means basically all but decided. We do see this chase is going to continue. Might be able to get the pallet. Nope, not going to worry about that. Just a second to take the M1, build some additional distance. And I'm curious here if we see Sequence trying to really put an exclamation point on this first game here, this first series to start off Winter Circuit.
Yeah. If Sequence is able to get a full 4-man escape here, that would be huge. iPick was on death hook again at 4 generators, was able to get hooked. The only reason why this game didn't end sooner was because iPick was because Tree Trick had to go around a room. If there was a door not in his way, he would have been able to go and get a very, very good result on this Ghost Face, even better than what we saw previously from Sequence here, from iPick, one of the best and well-known Ghost Faces in the community. He would have had such a great start, but now, ever since he made one mistake, the survivors have not let up and have shown why Sequence is so consistent and so strong on this map.
Yeah, I mean, this map is just home for a Sequence. You know, it's the reason why we see them pick it so often. Not just obviously because of how strong iPick is on the killer side, but also the team seems to always have the coordination. They always seem to have the communication needed in order to take away this set. And there's that 5th and the final generator. You had mentioned trying to get 4 out. 4 out does still look like a possibility. 3 out looks like an almost probability at this point.
This is definitely going to be hard for Tree Trick to even get a kill here in this scenario unless he's able to find Seth or iPick, and there's Seth going down, but he's still only going to be a 2nd hook here. iPick has to find Tree Trick has to find iPick here if he wants to confirm anything more than just 1 hook or 1 kill in this in game, and he's going to go after Swatter, who's a fresh hook. This will be a huge point swing, but you don't really care about that right now. What you want right here are the kills for your ego. Oh, and the 1v1 is going to come down. The Bloodlust is coming through, but Tree Trick uses the power and will get rid of the Bloodlust just for the red light mind game, which will come through as well. However, in the meantime, Seth in the distance has been picked up. Tree Trick is going to try and intercept them as they're going for the gate and is going to be able to find Seth now. Now's the question, how many kills will Divine Dead get here in this endgame?
Yeah, we see at least a 2nd survivor now on the floor. Can't help but wonder if we even have the doors even particularly prepped. We see a quick check at this door, no lights on as far as here. I mean, who knows? Maybe if you're Sequence, maybe you should try and go for some style points. We do see that Swatter is going to get picked up off the ground. Who needs to worry about just taking the easy out? You have already won. If you can really put a statement down here, that would be big, but now you do have Swatter still back over at this very strong loop, at this very strong pallet. Can buy some time. That's a swing and a miss there through the pallet space. Probably going to have to be forced to throw it this time around. As you can see, continue to play a ring around the rosy. Should fake. Oh, I was going to say fake it, but actually Tree Trick just tries to strong arm it around there, buying extra time here as we get the way across. I don't know if it's got this pallet left. Get stunned, stupid, head on. Big play there, maybe potentially building a little bit of additional space here, trying to go for the door.
Still get the 4-man out. Oh my god, this is still definitely a possibility. They might need to get a heal. Maybe they have someone going for the body block, but no, Tree Trick, he loses a little bit of distance. He's trying to find where the scratch marks are, and I think that just gave him enough. That's going to be the 4-man out. Everyone out the door. That's going to be the win for Sequence. Oh my god.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, we'll see the next game after this. Sequence just took this in excellent fashion.